from the Middle Ages. I mentioned King Arthur, I mentioned Edward the Black Prince, I mentioned Bertrand du Guesclin, and the other knights of the Middle Ages. As we progress toward the 1500s, the latter parts of the 1500s and so forth, we're coming up to the Elizabethan age, Elizabethan period, and the age of reasoning. And we're going to elaborate a little bit about Queen Elizabeth. She was a very educated, intellectual woman, and she came out of the lineage of Henry VIII, and she was the Queen of England, and her whole aim was to maintain complete dominance and the sovereign rights of the king, the complete authority over the peons in the Middle Ages and the people of low status, serfs and so forth, is maintaining their position in the empire. These during the Middle Ages, we had slaves. We had white slaves and other slaves. And these white slaves is pushed up in the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia. They was called Khazars. These are the so-called Jews. And the other whites we had as servants and so forth during the Middle Ages. And there was a brother that spoke about these blacks. His name was J.A. Rogers. And in the book, the title is called Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. He was an Israelite. He was black. He did a whole lot of writing about the heraldry, the study of symbols, and the royal families of Europe. And what you're going to see here is Negroes in noble coats of arms, showing you that during the Middle Ages and throughout the history of the Middle Ages, and from 193 AD on up, all the way up to the 18th century. See what it says? Negroes in coats of arms. Negroes in coats of arms of noble family. Queen Elizabeth, Sir Thomas More,
Princess Anne over there.
Princess Anne, Negroes,
Henry
VIII. All right? They was called Moors. Now this word Moors doesn't mean that it was that they was of Arab descent. Some people tend to think that it means of Arab descent. Moors means black. Simply it means black. Just like Morris. Morris is another word that's spoken in Latin and Greek that means black. And the Negrito, black. Morantus means black. Even a word like Aquila means black, which is one of the followers of Paul during the time of the reign of Paul. These words are associated with meaning black. Negro means black in Latin. All right? So these Negroes, coats of arms, Henry VIII and so forth. Also, since I mentioned about the Elizabethan period, Elizabeth, during her era, this was the time theater was set up. We was the one that created theater. Ben Jonson and Inicio, another guy that started creating theater along with acting. And Ben Jonson, the writer, Shakespeare. These guys was the one that during the Elizabethan period that started theater in the arts. And ballet dancing and tennis, all that came from us. All right? Now, what I'm going to attempt to show you now is during the Elizabeth time, Elizabeth was shrewd. Shakespeare, after Elizabeth passed on, King James took over the throne. Shakespeare was part of what they call all the king's men during the time of King James. You're dealing with the 1500s now. Here's a picture of King James in his old age, without a shadow of a doubt. You see that he was a black man. I just showed you a picture of Elizabeth. I believe was, if I'm not mistaken, Henry VIII's daughter. I know she came out of his line. James, You go to the bottom of the page.
Let me get it closer.
Okay.
You see that he's a black man.
He's a black man. Definitely see that he's a black man, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if you look, as you go on down, he has a scepter in his hand, in his right hand. In his left hand, he has what? Looks like a cylinder, circular shaped object in his left hand. That cylinder, circular shaped object is the world, is the whole planet Earth. What that showing you is that King James and the cross on there symbolized that he had the knowledge of Christianity of the ancient Christians. I mean, mind you, was taught, was put all over the earth. Now, King James, if you look to the corners of King James, what do you see?
I'm just getting the name on the bottom.
James the First in old age. He was James the First of England, but he was James the Sixth of
Front
Scotland.
room of the British Museum.
That's right. Distinctly
Now, what you wanted me to
show? Now, zoom in closer. You see two little heads on the side of the chair, of this throne. Those two heads, if you look at them, pan down, see those two heads? Those heads are lions, showing you that the lions represent the Lion of Judah and so forth. Rulership, courage, dominance. All right? Now, the globe represents, some people look and say, well, why do you have the cross? The cross symbolized, the cross had virtue. A lot of the wars that was fought, the 100-Year War, the War of the Roses in the Middle Ages was fought over relics of the time of Christ. The Holy Grail, the cup that Christ drank out of the Last Supper, these are all these relics that had any pertaining to Christ, that Christ had affiliated with it, a touch. They had virtue in it. Virtue meaning that they had the Spirit in it. It was said that the reason that the Israelites during the Middle Ages was after the cross and from Constantine time and so forth, 300 and something A.D., the reason that his family was after that cross is because the cross had virtue in it. Virtue means spirit. They said if you took one splint of wood from that cross, it was able to heal you.
Yeah, that's the cross that Christ was put on.
That's the cross that Christ was crucified on. Not that we was worshiping the cross by any means. Now, when the white people took over the rulership from the 1400s to 1492, the Renaissance period, and they started getting into the papal city and sitting on the throne in the Vatican City, so-called Vatican City, with white popes, they was the one that started changing the cross as symbols into idolatry. So King James saw what was going on, and he wanted to get away from that. So he changed the dominant language of that era, which is called Latin. He changed it into what he called Anglican. He was putting it, which is another word of saying English, another way of saying English, called Anglican. That's why you got the Anglican order and so forth. So he said, no more Latin, because that Latin, they was going into demonology and witchcraft, the whites, when they got on the throne in the Vatican City in Rome. They was going into this Latin dialect, and they was going deeper into witchcraft and idolatry worship. So King James, if you want to get the copy at the front of this book called James the First Contemporaries. The contemporaries meaning that these was cohorts of his, closest
So wouldn't English mean English talk?
English comes from the word, stem from the word Anglican.
Angel.
Angel.
Angel talk.
Angel talk. Right. Angel talk. So King James passed a law. He put up a bull, which means a poster, which posted procrastination, broadcasting of that they made it law that the dominant language of the area now is English, Anglican, because they was going away. The whites was going deep into this witchcraft. Therefore, King James went and slaughtered a whole lot of the people that was witches back during that era.
Those four guys were black.
These pictures that you're seeing here.
One of them was a woman. One of them was a woman.
Is King James, and his mother was Mary, Queen of Scots.
Is that her?
Yeah. What happened, the reason that Elizabeth had his mother killed is because she had been influenced.
Could I say this?
Yeah.
They were showing that on cable this past week about her and about a married